Hi everybody, this is the baseball fight, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Tune. Hope you like this video and subscribe. I was talking about everything Major League Baseball. And before we get this, you need to hit that subscribe button. I'll have so much stuff here. I can't wait to the off season, just to get over this nonsense that we dealt with here in New York, the Mets being bad and the Yankees being bad. Not that I care about the Yankees, but speaking of which, speaking of a bad team. And a big disappointment, probably the biggest disappointment, a team that was stubborn to make any kind of subtractions at the deadline, was the San Diego Padres. It was funny you should mention that. I got an article. There was a big article put on by The Athletic, talked about the dysfunction and all the monkey crap that's been going on out there in California with the Padres. Here's from CBSSports.com. Headline: Padres GM A.J. Preller and manager Bob Melvin have unfixable relationship, per report. It's been a very disappointing season in San Diego. Our off-season changes on the way. Let's see. And a season full of disappointing teams, the San Diego Padres stand out from the pack. That goes without saying. They have spent lavishly both in terms of dollars and trade capital the last few years to build a core of prime-age superstars, yet the result is a 73-78 record and a trip to the golf course in October. It stands to reason GM A.J. Preller's seat is getting warm. It should be red hot. On Tuesday, The Athletic detailed San Diego's disappointing season, and one unnamed Padres player went as far as to say the relationship between Preller and manager Bob Melvin is unfixable. For what it's worth, Preller's acknowledged he and Melvin don't always see eye to eye. Though he called it healthy debate, here's more from The Athletic. Quote: several Padres people interviewed for this story described circumstances in which Preller told players one thing and Melvin told them another. That's not good. That means on different pages. One player, while careful not to absolve himself and his teammates of blame, likened the situation to a toxic relationship between parents in which the kids suffer. Oh boy. If nobody's on the same page and you're getting two stories from two different people, there is not trust there, the player said. The player's going to feel like, well, who can I confide in? Who can I talk to? Melvin, a three-time manager of the year, joined the Padres last season and led San Diego to the NLCS. He's the team's seventh manager and Preller's 9 full seasons as GM, including interims, and their third full-time manager in the last 5 years. Melvin was expected to help solve the team's underperformance issues from 2019 to 2021 and provide stability in the dugout. Inside, the Padres are again underperforming this year, though it should be noted some of their issues were known coming into the season. San Diego lacked depth, particularly beyond their top starters and core relievers, and that depth has held them back at times. The roster is top-heavy, and when the guys at the top don't perform as expected, it can make everyone look bad. Quote: I think we just didn't want it, Manny Machado said recently. I will say that. I think that's everyone's fault. It's everybody's fault. We didn't want it as a team. It falls down to the team. It's not necessarily one player. It's not an individual sport. So I think ultimately it comes down to all of us. We should have wanted it more. To state the obvious, the GM and manager should be on the same page. You don't have to agree on everything. Different opinions are a good thing, but it should be collaborative. It doesn't sound like that's the case with Preller and Melvin. The standings suggest the Padres will make changes after this year. Will Preller really hire a fourth manager in 6 years? Hey, why not? Doesn't seem like he's going anywhere. It doesn't seem like he's going anywhere, to be honest with you. A couple of things on Melvin, which I saw today on X, Twitter, or whatever they want to call themselves, X. The guy that covers sports here in New York, SNY, Andy Martino, put out a tweet talking about this, and he said that the manager for the Padres, who was up for the job for the Mets prior to the Mets hiring Buck Showalter, had a meeting scheduled with the Mets, and at the last minute he called it off and blew it off. The way it was described is that he blew it off, which is kind of weird that a reporter would mention that. I don't know if he took it seriously or what, but that's a very interesting way to put it. If you're not interested in, because the word was he didn't want to come to he didn't want to leave the West Coast. But if you don't want to leave the West Coast, why did you schedule a meeting with the Mets to be their manager? Very strange. And Bob Melvin also worked in the Mets organization and was up for the job in 2010, you know. He's up for the job in 2010, and he didn't take the job. The Mets hired Terry Collins back then. So this is not the first time that he's talked about this job with the Mets. But, you know, we've sort of observed here that the Padres have had a problem in that clubhouse. And I thought that, and I think a lot of people thought that Melvin would have been able to solve that problem. But if there's a problem top in the front office, and the problem is the front office is not in line with the manager, then right off the bat, it comes from all the way from the very top all the way down. So if you have a general manager, and here's the thing, you have a general manager that's been there 9 years, he's had 7 managers, maybe the problem is the general manager. He makes these big moves, but they don't seem to, they should have went to the World Series this year. And they didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. They didn't, like, divest all these players like the Mets did. A couple of things from what I've heard. There will be moves that are going to be made. I saw that in SNY on SNY tonight. There's a Mets local affiliate here in New York. And according to them, according to Jim Duquette, that they're going to make some moves. They're going to start moving some of these players. Also with the Padres, they have an issue with their broadcasting. They were hoping to get a big broadcasting deal. This is according to Mike Francesa, and it fell apart. So the money that they've had in the past to spend might not be there. Keep that in mind. Also, the word is that they are probably going to shop Manny Machado. With all that money, I couldn't imagine who they could get in return for him. With all the money, and he's had injuries this year, he's sort of taken a step back. He might be on the other side of 30. Also, we know that Juan Soto is going to be a free agent after next season. I've not heard that they were going to move him today, but that is something to keep an eye on. That will be a storyline in this offseason. Because the word is he does not want to resign in San Diego. That's the word. From what I've read. I haven't heard anything that he wants to sign with San Diego moving forward. And that he's not particularly happy out there. He's not an issue out there in terms of the clubhouse, but he's not happy out there. That's what I've heard. I heard that from watching Mike Francesa a few months ago on SMY, that he's not a happy camper out there. So, and from what I understand, he's very guarded. He doesn't tell people much about it. But that's the word that we've heard here. So, you let me know what you think about this video. What's the problem in San Diego? Where in the world is Tony? Oh yeah, that's right. I shouldn't say that. It's inappropriate to say something nasty about Tony. I love Tony. But here we go. Let me know what you think about this video. Of course, please subscribe to the Baseball at 2. Thank you, and I'll see you later.